So we are live with another episode of the SEO Leadership Podcast. Today, I'm very excited to have on Matt Pyke. Matt Pyke is the founder and MD of Fly High Media, which is a full-service agency that specializes in SEO, PPC, social media, and web design. How are we, Matt?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for having us. Like, I've been looking forward to coming on for a while now. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Definitely, yeah, no problem at all. Excited for this one, get a bit sort of more top level information out of you as well. But yeah, if you want to just give the listeners just a sort of brief background into your SEO journey and sort of how you got into it and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I started the business back in 2016 while I was at uni. So it was my first year of uni, and then I first started out in like web design. So if you look at it like web design versus SEO services, like you're doing project work, so a project might last like 2 or 3 months, whatever, and then you'd have to find your next project, or you're juggling projects, but the pipeline's not as full, that kind of thing. Whereas if like the kind of way that I found SEO is, I was a student, I didn't have money to advertise, that kind of thing. So I kind of just obsessed of ways to find to get more business to the website. I didn't want to go out networking, a bit introverted, didn't want to pay for ads. So yeah, I taught myself SEO. We got on the first page for like Web Design Manchester, that kind of thing. So that generated leads, and I was kind of just branched out into SEO that way, really. And then, it really did become like a fixation, like the dopamine rush of ranking new pages or generating leads that turns into tangible business, which is the core of what we do now, which is what the thrill of it is. And then throughout uni, my whole goal was just to be able to graduate into something. I didn't really want to kind of hit the jobs market straight after uni. I think uni's a really good place and a valuable place, but it's more about what you do while you're there outside of the lesson. So I took advantage of that, and then graduated in 2018. Throughout uni, we were kind of like using freelancers and stuff like that, maybe friends on like courses, that kind of thing. And then 2018, about the summertime, I was working on my mum and dad's dining room table for a few months, and then started 2019, moved out into offices, started building out a team. I merged companies with a friend of mine, so he was like really good at sales, operations, and that kind of thing, and I kind of had opposite skill sets to him, and then we combined. So we combined overheads, cost, all that kind of thing, and client base, and complemented each other's services, built the client base up that way. Grew from there, really, and then just started generating more clients, more inbound leads from like both our sides. And then through COVID, like we for the businesses in the SEO agency space, and we got more business through that, which was great. And then just from there, just continue to grow, really. Work with a lot of great people, first and foremost, and a lot of really good clients as well, which is really good each day as well. So I guess that's a journey. I mean, I've condensed it quite a lot, and it's a bit of a roller coaster agency journey, as you'll know, but like it's a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it since day one, and continued to enjoy how it's evolving as well.
Excellent. I love it. And I think one of the things you talk about, because SEO, there's no real course in uni for it. A lot of people just seem to sort of fall into it. And we chat to obviously people who are looking for maybe like entry-level positions and things like that. That SEO knowledge that you learned to sort of grow that web design business, where did you get your sort of your core learnings from? Was it like textbooks, YouTube, or?
Yeah, just obsessing like anywhere I could find it, really. Like I didn't particularly do any courses. It was just a lot of trial and error on the own site and on the Fly High site to start with. So just like own tweaks and changes, reading a lot of articles everywhere, YouTube and things like that. But anywhere and everywhere, really. And again, just trial and error. I was fortunate at uni, actually. I had a really good lecturer in second year, Dawn Anderson. So like she helped quite a bit as well. But she had really expert knowledge. She's like an international speaker and stuff. So it's great to meet her. And then just obsessed over SEO, really. Like 12 hours a day, just learning about it, and anywhere I could, really. So yeah.
Excellent. And you mentioned then you were working from your mum and dad's dining room table.
Yeah.
And then you had freelancers and stuff like that before throughout your uni journey. What stage was it that you decided, right, I need to bring on somebody full time that can help me with this? Was it in terms of like you reach a certain level of like revenue, or was it certain sort of client workload? How did you come to that decision?
Yeah, I mean, it just gets to a point where like you obviously start out, you have to do like delivery, admin, sales, absolutely everything, and then you don't have enough time for that. You need to sort of shift your time to sales and stuff like that. So you basically find someone to replace your time in certain areas, and then you get to a point where you can't do delivery anymore. So you need to find someone else for delivery so you can focus on client services and client management. So that was, I needed to free up as much time as possible, and so I could spend it on like client services and stuff like that and sales. So that was where my first focus was. And then after that, it was more so like when there was too many clients, that's when someone else had to sort of come in to manage the clients. And then with more clients, you obviously need more delivery, and then it kind of just builds out from there as well. And then if you bring in more services, then there's more moving parts to it as well. So yeah, it's a lot to manage. And the key thing to growing the business and to managing it and make sure it runs smoothly internally and externally is having good client service team, which has been big from day one, really, because anytime that I've sort of spoken to other businesses, like when they kind of come to us, they say one of the biggest problems is like communication between clients and stuff like that. Usually relationships break down from communication. So literally from day one, I've always put a big emphasis on being quick to reply, that kind of thing, and getting things done quickly. So we've got a good retention rate on it as well. So that's been something in the philosophy from the outset. But that's why it was drilled in the hiring structure to get someone to do that, because I knew that if I'm juggling too many things, then you get clients that drop off, and then you're not going to grow, that kind of thing. So yeah.
And did you decide for that sort of maybe first one or two hires to go from like a top-down approach where you bring on somebody a bit more sort of senior who can hit the ground running, or was it a matter of bringing in somebody who's a bit more junior that you can maybe mold to your way of work and understanding how important those client relationships are?
Yeah, a little bit more junior, and then you train them, and then I quite like to promote within, and that's what I quite like to do. I think it's a good way to do it, and like it's quite rewarding to see people progress and grow. So that's typically the way that we do it. That's how we do it. Yeah.
Excellent. And you mentioned about you added a lot of other services as well. And quite sort of early on in the sort of agency's growth. Was that like a sort of a set plan, or was that just because you came from that web design background? Because it's quite hard enough to grow an SEO agency that focuses purely on SEO, never mind web design, paid, social, etc.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're all quite complementary, aren't they? And quite a lot of clients, they like to keep everything under one roof, and for client communications, because if you think about one business owner talking to multiple client account managers, whereas if they're talking to one point of contact, it's a lot easier for them. So like SEO and PPC complement each other well, and then if there's development changes, that can fall within SEO and BBC for like landing pages and stuff. So they all complement each other, and they kind of they kind of grow naturally, really, through demand, I guess. So yeah.
And is there any sort of like initial sort of bottlenecks or pain points when you add a new service to your agency? How would you sort of go about introducing that service to either current clients or trying to attract new clients for that service as well?
Yeah, I mean, like we just sort of look at opportunities in the growth area. Like if there's an area where things are maybe like slowing down, or they've kind of like hit a plateau, then you look at introducing new services there, like looking at opportunities. And if we see competitors in the market space that are doing certain things, then we can offer options to them as well to improve it. And clients tend to take it up because they want to grow their business. And in a way, we act as business consultants, because they might not have thought at certain channels. So yeah, that's the kind of way that we've branched out, and it works well for clients.
Brilliant. And you mentioned obviously the importance of hiring. What does Fly High Media look for when they're bringing on a new team member?
the first thing is attitude, and like a good attitude, and willing to learn, because that's such a good asset to have. We don't like mediocrity, and we want people to be the best, and we want people to grow. As I say, like, we want people to be here for a long time. We want them to grow into roles and hire from within. So they're the main attributes, really. Just really look. I don't know how you say it, like a sponge to information. People that want to learn and want to grow, and they've got a desire to not just have a job, but to have a career and progress themselves and be self-motivated as well. So they're some of the key components to it, and that's what's worked well for us.
Excellent. And obviously you've been around for, I think, just coming up to 10 years now. This is the 10th year of business. And what we always say is, as a recruitment company, we can do our best to vet the candidates, to get them in front of you, get them through the interview stages. But when they accept that job offer, it goes on to you in terms of like the onboarding process, how they sort of fit well into the team, get used to the culture and stuff like that. How important is the onboarding process for you guys at Fly High Media, and how has that sort of developed over the last 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, it's ever evolving, to be honest. Like we're constantly changing like processes and stuff like that, improving them, try and do like quite in-depth competency things, to make sure like we assess the levels properly, and make sure it's the right people, right fit, right attitude, that kind of thing. So we usually do like a half day to see how people like being in the office and that kind of thing as well, just to see if they like the environment, because like that's a big part of your job and who you're working with. So each time we make a hire, we make sure that they're happy, and then like a happy employee is like someone that's going to benefit for everyone in the long run.
I love it. And we've worked quite a lot recently with maybe people who've started as like a consultancy, and again sort of looking to hire their first sort of employees, and maybe somebody who's sort of grown up to focus more on like sort of the strategy side rather than actually sort of client deliverables and stuff like that. How difficult was it for you as you sort of grew out the team to maybe let go a bit more of the reins and have sort of less control over what work is actually getting delivered to the clients?
Yeah, I think for me, like it's easier than you think, really. I think like if you have systems and processes, like you put together a process first and then you systemize it, that like everyone will have a responsibility to stick to, then you can sort of trust the process of everything, really. So like everyone knows the responsibilities. I always say, like, when anything ever comes in externally from a client, or like even internally, if something needs doing, it needs to go into like one of 3 buckets. Like if it's to do with technical, if it comes to do with content, links, whatever, the right person needs to be assigned to it straight away. There's no like ambiguity, and there's processes behind it, and that's the way that you scale and grow, really. When new people come on board, they need to be able to learn the processes and systems as quickly as possible. So that's the way that I guess works, and I guess that's how we've been able to grow, and that's how we plan to continue to grow. Like the processes are so important. Like I always sometimes want to maybe break the processes so that we can improve them. I always want to make them quicker, more efficient, more beneficial for anyone. Like there's no pressure. Like if something goes wrong, I just want to know like why it went wrong, and like how we can make it better for next time, and make it better for the client, better delivery, improve the workload for us, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I've sort of led me on to my next question as well, because you've had quite a lot of growth over the last couple of years as well. So obviously processes and SOPs are sort of the backbone of an agency. How often would you go and sort of tweak that, and how do you onboard people to sort of learn them effectively?
Yeah, geez, like they're probably like they don't change massively every week. I can't say that, but like maybe at least every month there's some small tweaks to it, and then maybe every few months there's maybe a bit of an overhaul for certain bits and bobs. So we might be using like a new CMS system for a client, for example. So we need to build a new process up for that SOP. Sometimes like we have to put like step-by-step instructions, say if it's like a really difficult CMS to work with. So it's about building those like as soon as they come in, and then it can be replicated for other people doing it as well. So yeah, the SOPs are changing all the time, but like everyone's always on the same page as them. And then, you know, when they've been changed, it gets relayed back to everyone. So everyone knows exactly what they're doing and when and who's responsible for it. And, you know, that's the only way that it can be managed.
Excellent. And I saw just through the LinkedIn that you've opened up a second office as well.
Yeah.
What were the was there any sort of main pain points or bottlenecks, and why did you choose, is it Cheshire as well? Was there any particular sort of thought process or?
Yeah, so I started the business in Manchester. So like the office so they had offices in Cheshire. So like everyone's based in the Cheshire office, and then Manchester's just like a secondary office just for like meetings and stuff like that. You know, we target the Manchester area as well. So we've got clients over there. So that's kind of the reason for that. Like I'm from around where the offices are based. So like that's the structure behind that as well.
Excellent. And looking back over that sort of the period of growth that you've had, is there any advice maybe agency owners going through that at the minute, and any sort of pain points or bottlenecks that you maybe look back on and thought that can be improved, or we could have done better in that situation?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I've always been good at like delegating and stuff like that. And it's good to know people's like strengths and weaknesses. So like that, learning that like early on, then like I guess like if I learned that earlier on, then that can kind of help. So it's like an ongoing process to try and understand like how you can get the best out of as many people as possible. So that's an ongoing strength. I think another thing as well is to like as we're kind of growing, like I'm learning as well. So like changing from, I guess, like managing and dealing things, it's more like a leadership role where I've got like the top level visions, and then I'm trying to relay it to everyone. So it filters down. So like that's, you know, what I'm learning at the moment and what I'm improving on. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, like there's loads of little bits that would have changed like earlier on, like in my career. So like one of the things that would have missed out on loads of revenue from is like when we used to get inquiries like really early on, like I only used to like deal on email like that. It's just embarrassing now, but like I used to like hate the phone. So like as soon as you pick up the phone, it's much better than email. So like if I learned that, but you know, confidence comes with time and experience. So yeah, that's kind of evolved over time, which is good. But yeah, if I could go back, I'd say, yeah, pick up the phone. Don't use email.
I love it. Yeah, you mentioned there about sort of team management and leadership roles at the minute. I think sort of soft skills are becoming more and more an important role within SEO. I think a lot of SEOs have sort of the hard skills, the technical background and stuff down to a T. But how do you sort of encourage your team or even yourself to sort of develop those sort of soft skills as well?
Yeah, I mean, just communicating and talking, make sure everyone's on the same page. Like, if there is something wrong with the SOPs, like tell me. Like, we can change them. They're not set in stone. Yeah, and again, just like communication, like that's just the number one thing. So like regular catch-ups, check-ins, you know, individual check-ins, that kind of thing. That really helps grow the team and grows everyone's personal development as well.
Excellent. And you mentioned, I think at the start, that whenever you sort of merged or acquired with Wolfden Creative,
yeah,
that they had sort of a lot more sort of processes and sort of sales orientated.
Yeah.
How important, obviously, sales is probably, you know, crucial to any sort of company,
Yeah.
but how is that sort of process being sort of improved and refined over the years?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, like the pitching process, like that's definitely improved. You know, the kind of inquiries that we get as well, like the kind of keywords that we're targeting have got better. So like the more niche and stuff like that. The onboarding process has got really good as well. So like everything's clear up front, and we can kind of, it's not just like a pitch, like it's not just like a pitch, like a big thing that changed. Again, it just looking back, it looks really obvious, but like having like the next steps like within the pitch, so like they understand the onboarding process, so expectations can be set up front as well. So yeah, that's like another big learning that's come over the years, to kind of talk people into the next steps and know what to expect from there.
Excellent. And your sort of kind of acquisition funnel, I suppose, does that come mainly through sort of focus on SEO, paid ads, or email campaigns, or how does that sort of look for Fly High Media?
Yeah, I think that it makes sense for an SEO company to do well in organic search, and yeah, we definitely do get a lot of business through that. Like we've got partnerships with other companies as well that don't do the services that we do. So like we get business that way, referrals, upsells. We do a bit of email, and then we do a bit of remarketing as well. But they're the main ways that we get business. But as I say, like an SEO company, we do get business through that, and that's probably the main source of leads and inquiries, which are the highest intent. Really, like that's. We've tried outbound in the past, but for us, it's not worked. It's such a crowded space. You probably get the same. I probably get between 100 and 200 of nearly word for word the same emails from different people. So I know that it doesn't work and it gets clogged up, and especially the decision makers that we try and reach out to, it doesn't really work. So like inbound, like I'm all for that, and maybe it just comes down to me being a bit introverted, but yeah, the inbound approach definitely helps, and everything that you can do. And I think every business kind of needs to be everywhere. So like it's not just like organic search, but it's off page as well. So like with PR, like that's important. That's something that we're pushing. So yeah, it's a mix of everything really.
Excellent. And you mentioned about sort of inbound. Do you find that inbound clients are more likely to sort of convert because they're slightly sort of warmer than sort of outbound?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think I saw a stat. I can't quite remember the exact number, but it was something like 80%. Like inbound leads are more likely to convert into business rather than outbound, which for me it's much more believable, because if you're getting pounded with outbound messages, then it's not the right time for you, and you're probably going to be a bit put off by it. But if you need something right there and then, you've got a pain, you're looking to scratch the itch and get something as quickly as possible. Like on our website, we've got a like on the form it says like how urgent is it for you, so we can kind of assess like how urgent it is for businesses as well, so that further shows the intent of it. So I love inbound, and that's always the best way to go about it, I think. And again, it's probably down to me being introverted a bit, but yeah.
No, I love it. Yeah, I think it's something that we heavily focus on as well. In terms of your team and sort of the culture, it's quite not necessarily easy to establish a culture at the start in the beginning when there's only maybe a couple of people there. But as that sort of team has grown, how do you ensure that sort of the company culture stays? Is there any sort of like activities, or how does that sort of reinforce it into your staff?
No, it's good question. I mean, just from day one, like you got to set the standards, expectations, and stuff like that, and then we do regular activities and stuff like that, which is good. We got like Slack channels to give each other a pat on the back, that kind of thing. Anything that's been done well, then it's always recognized, that kind of thing. So keeping that culture is like something that it keeps people happy, like people like coming to work, that kind of thing. So it's like an evolving thing, I guess. But we try and set the standard when people join, and say what's expected, and this is like how we are as a business, this is how we come across, and we want to continue that and get people to buy into the mission of it, which is something quite big on.
Brilliant. And obviously having sort of the core office in Cheshire, and obviously that one in Manchester that you mentioned as well, how difficult or maybe easy that you guys find it to sort of hire with like an office-based role?
Yeah, an office. Well, we are like hybrid, so like we do two days and 2 days at home and then 3 in the office. So it's good to have a mix. Like people like to work from home, so like we obviously cater for that. We only just started doing it really, so we're happy to be flexible. And like the office space, that gives people a chance to collaborate and stuff like that. I think some of the most valuable conversations happen like not like on a Slack channel or a call. It's just like when you're sat next to each other, like bouncing back ideas, which is where you learn the most. Like when you meet other SEOs, like I think the best conversations are like just just standing up by them at the bar or something like that. You say like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that post? Did you see what Google said about that? Did you read that Reddit thread about that X, Y, and Z? All those conversations, you don't get the same online, I think, which is why like offline is really important.
Definitely. And I think in terms of your team structure, I think the ethos that you mentioned to start about maybe hiring a bit more junior and progressing them through the company. Have you found that having that office space where you can sort of learn through like osmosis almost, as you mentioned, is that sort of like, I don't know the right word, maybe like a channel to sort of keep that growth going?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you use the right word there, and I use it as well myself. Like osmosis, like it's hard not to pick up and become an expert when you're surrounded by other senior members of the team. So when they're talking about certain things, or if you lean over to someone's desk and they show you how to do something really quick, it's much quicker than like 5 Slack messages. So yeah, like that osmosis of being around people where you can ask quick questions. I still think that's what it's important about to have an office, and to be around people, and to get out the house and have a separation between your house as well. I still think that's important. So
yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And one of the things I wanted to discuss about, obviously you offer quite a lot of services, and as you said, you think for especially in the client side, they want one person or one agency to manage everything, and to sort of shorten that communication. How do you manage? We chatted to a few companies that are sort of switching from that sort of siloed section where their teams are all sort of split up, right, to more sort of cohesive strategy. How do you sort of manage sort of SEO, web design, paid, all working maybe on the same client? How do you prioritize sort of paid over SEO? How do you make sure that the team's working together and not sort of against each other?
Yeah, I mean, like the collaboration between SEO and PPC, they obviously work hand in hand. So like we kind of see what works. It depends which comes first, SEO or PPC. But if they come at the same time, like, you can look at both. But like when an SEO comes in, like we can look. So if there's a good PPC campaign running, we can look at the most quickly, like the campaigns that get the most conversions and stuff like that. And then if there's not a landing page specifically for SEO on that, then we can build on that kind of thing. So it all works together. If there's something that we want to roll out in SEO, we can test it on PPC, that kind of thing. And it's the account manager's role to sort of see from a top level like what's working and what's not working, and the client's goals, and kind of marrying that up and discussing that like all together for that cross pollination, which works really well. So yeah,
love it. And you mentioned obviously about the digital PR and social as well. Social, again, sort of relatively new and not as much sort of algorithm necessarily to base it off compared to SEO. How do you sort of make sure that the team are keeping on top of like new social trends? How do you sort of pitch that to your clients as well?
So how do we keep on top of like trends and stuff like that?
Yeah, like new sort of social trends, and yeah, how do you sort of gauge sort of success with that to clients? Because obviously it can be quite hit or miss if something's going to go viral or if it's just going to go sort of under the water.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, like we're always sharing like resources and stuff like that. Like we do internal trainings as well. So if like there's been an algorithm update like today, like someone will do a talk on it, that kind of thing. If there's something new that one of us has learned, then someone will share it, that kind of thing. And again, those kind of office conversations, that they play quite a crucial role in it. Having those 30-second chats about what's new, what's not worked, all that kind of thing. Is really good.
Excellent. And we're coming up into the last minute, so I've got like sort of 2 questions that I'll sort of spit out quickly. Obviously, SEO, everything's quite unpredictable, and sometimes takes a bit longer for strategies to be implemented and sort of see that success. How do you manage, or how does Flight Media manage sort of client expectations regarding that?
Yeah, I mean, we just say it up front, like SEO is like a marathon. It's not a sprint. We'll do quick fixes on the site, and usually there's quite a few. Usually it's technical fixes or old outdated content where we'll fix it. You can get good results like even in a matter of weeks. It depends how big the site is or whatever. So you can have really bad fundamental SEO, or you've got schema missing, for example. So those kind of fixes can yield quite good results. But it's about setting the expectations of saying we'll get these deliverables done, and then these are on the priority list, and these will help turn the initial needle, but you'll start to see, I guess, like the best results. So it's always about like over promise. It's like under promising and over delivering. So we always, re-emphasize on that and report back regularly and communicate with the clients regularly and be honest as well, like in the reporting. So say like it took a dip, but it's because of this. And then, just being open and honest and building trust with the client and stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. And then last question, just to sort of round it off, it wouldn't be sort of a webinar podcast. We didn't talk about AI. How are you guys sort of leveraging AI? Maybe not necessarily for like blogs or anything like that, but even for like internal like workflows.
Yeah, that definitely helps us. Yeah, like coming up with like flows and stuff like that. Like I guess like more basic things with SEO, maybe like meta titles and descriptions, because like if you work on a big e-commerce site at scale, like it can take a long time for that. So using custom GPTs for that helps. I guess like streamlining the workflows and stuff like that. It helps build SOPs as well. So like you can build prompts to look at inefficiencies in that and then looking to improve them in that. So yeah, that really helps speed things up. But yeah, I mean, like we use it to help us structure content, content strategies. Obviously, everything's still got a lot of human input, but like it does help take the initial heavy lifting off, and it helps you, get good sources of information. It gives you a good starting point, so you're not just starting from scratch. So yeah, it's definitely going to, redefine the industry. I think, people need to really upskill in it. I think there's going to be more roles in, like prompt engineers, that kind of thing, to sort of build out more custom GPTs, that kind of thing.
Excellent. I love it. Well, yeah, that pretty much wraps us up then. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on and going into a lot of detail. I think a lot of people find that very but yeah, anybody, you can go follow Matt on LinkedIn. All the links to your LinkedIn on Fly High Media will be in the comments and below. But yeah, appreciate you taking the time out, Matt.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. Thanks.
Cheers.